Hi there, NGPF teacher friends. We are super excited because our semester course now has all of its end of unit exams available as Google Forms, and this is a little crash course in how to use those. So first of all, you need to open up your teachers only version of the course map. If you don't have access to that, that means you need to get a free NGPF teacher account. Once you're all set up there, you'll get the teacher only access to the course map, and then you'll scroll down for any one of our exams, and you'll see that they're now available as Google Doc, which is how they always were, kind of like a worksheet format, and then they're also available as a Google form. So I'm going to show you, if you were teaching the taxes unit, you would come down here and you would click where it says Google form. You'll click there, and you'll instantly be prompted to make a copy of the unit test because you want to be able to do the grading and collecting of all of your students' answers, not us here. So you need to make your own copy. So the first thing you do is click Make a Copy. It opens up here, and you probably want to rename this document. You can make the choice of whether you're going to use the same exact test for all of your sections, or if you want to make multiple copies, one for each section. Just depends on how you want to divide up your student work. So I'm going to change that to like this Enlich's SC2 unit test. Great. So now I've got my own version. I can use this to add it to my drive and move it to whatever drive folder I want to in my own drive. And here is your teacher access. You can sort of see this is the information you'll be collecting from your students about who they are. And then it moves into the multiple choice questions. And it just kind of keeps going down the list. They're broken up into sets of 5 because we found personally that we thought they got way too long. If you put all 25 multiple choice all on one screen, it kind of felt busy. So we've divided them up into sets of 5, but you can change that around if you want. I also want to direct your attention over here to this little gear. When you click the gear, you'll see all the settings that we've set up as the default. It's going to collect your students' email addresses so that you can send them their scores afterwards digitally. They're going to be limited to only one response. By default on our settings, they're not going to be able to edit their answers after they've clicked submit. Also important to click over to quizzes, and you see that their grades will be released later after you do the scoring for the short answer and essay portions. And they will be able by default to see which questions they missed and the point values, but they will not be able to see the correct answers. We wanted to kind of preserve the answers in case you teach multiple sections in the same day. So what would happen is, now that you've got your own copy of the unit test that you want to assign to your students, you would go up to this eyeball, and you can see what it will look like from their perspective. So your students would have to fill in their own stuff here, and then they will receive 5 multiple choice questions, as I mentioned earlier, per page, and then they would select next and go on to the next set of questions. When you're actually ready to send your students the exam, you can go up to the send button, and you can either type in their email addresses here, or you can click the little link and get the link to the exam that way and send them off to your students. So then the next step is all of your students will take the exam digitally, and then you'll want to access the answers. So you'll navigate to wherever you saved this Google form in your Google Drive. And I've got a sample which I had to mock students fill out for me of this taxes. When you first open it up, it will show you again the question view. You can see next to it the responses. There are 2 responses to mine. As you had more and more students click submit, you would get more and more answers here. And then what you want to do in order to actually grade the exam is you're going to go over here to individual, and you'll see that this person got 19 out of 50 points, but it's only automatically graded the multiple choice question. So as they kind of skim down, you can see all of their scores for the multiple choice of whether they got them correct or incorrect. And you just keep going down past all of the multiple choice questions, which have auto-graded for you. And you get to the short answer questions, which are here. And these are just sample students, so they didn't do a terrific job of filling these in for me. They just need to write something. But you would decide, identify 2 different forms of income that are taxable. and you would then give them the appropriate number of points for each of these questions. We have defaulted to making each question worth 3 points because we wanted the short answers, 3 times 5, to be worth 15 total points of the grade to make it an even 50 points on the exam. You can change those if you want to, but in this case I can decide if I want to give her 0, 1, 2, or 3 points. And I just go ahead and type in, what's the deadline to file your taxes? Again, I'm going to say, okay, you didn't get any points there. And you can kind of decide 2 reasons. Okay, she's got 1 reason, so on and so forth. Go down this way, keep grading. This is all for 1 student, and then here's her essay. I go ahead and read her essay and give her as many points as I think are appropriate out of 10. And then I can go ahead and push save, and then I can move on to the next student. I can also, if I want to, I can choose to grade all of my students first and then release the scores, or if for some reason I want to release their scores as I'm done grading them, I could go ahead and push release score, and then this student of mine will get an email with her score attached. That is the very short tutorial on how you use the Google Forms for our unit test for the semester. If you've got any questions, as always, email us here at ngpf.org. Thanks.